Imagine stumbling across a small copper coin that once sat unnoticed in your spare change jar, but now could be worth far more than its face value. That's the magic of numismatics, the thrill of discovery. And today, we're diving into 3 incredible Lincoln 1-cent coins that collectors are hunting down with fervor. Let's unlock the secrets behind these overlooked treasures and explore the top 3 Lincoln pennies that could be quietly increasing in value right now. Starting with a standout from the late 1960s. 1968 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin with mint mark D and fine condition. This penny hails from a transformative time in U.S. history. The year 1968 marked the height of social movements, a turbulent political climate, and the evolving legacy of the Lincoln cent itself. Minted at the Denver Mint, the 1968 D penny carried forward the traditional design by Victor David Brenner, which had remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1968, the Lincoln Memorial had been the reverse design for nearly a decade, having replaced the earlier wheat stalks in 1959. The obverse still showcased Lincoln's right-facing profile with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1968 to the right, while the reverse depicted the Lincoln Memorial flanked by the words "United States of America," "E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent at the bottom. In fine condition, this coin still retains clear legibility of all inscriptions, with slight but noticeable wear along Lincoln's cheekbone and jawline, and some flattening along the high points of the memorial. The Denver Mint struck a hefty total of $2,886,755,000 Lincoln cents in 1968, a large number that typically implies a common coin. However, value and collectability stem not only from mintage, but also from surviving condition, strike quality, and the presence of errors. Many 1968 D pennies show slightly weaker strikes or uneven surfaces, partly due to worn dies or overuse during this high-output year. Collectors gravitate toward well-struck examples in fine or better condition. Despite the high mintage, finding a 1968 D penny in pristine shape with original luster intact becomes increasingly difficult with each passing year. This coin also stands out for its transitional characteristics. Collectors often look for die varieties, small date versus large date variations, and particularly repunched mint marks, a common theme among coins from the 1960s. The Denver Mint, in particular, saw numerous cases of repunched D mint marks, where the letter D appears doubled, shadowed, or misaligned due to the minting process used before digital enhancements in later years. These errors can dramatically increase a coin's value. In terms of market value, a 1968 D penny in fine condition generally holds modest value, often ranging from 10 cents to a few dollars. However, prices rise significantly for coins with rare errors or excellent strike quality. Repunched mint mark varieties, for example, can fetch between $10 and $50, depending on their clarity and how prominently the doubling appears. In uncirculated condition, especially with a strong strike and full red coloration, the coin's value can escalate to over $100. The true appeal of the 1968 D Lincoln cent lies in its role as a bridge between older minting styles and more modern techniques, a tangible link to the past, and a gateway into mid-20th century coinage for new collectors. Interest in this coin has been steadily rising as collectors seek to build complete Lincoln Memorial cent sets or identify error coins with growing scarcity. 1981 Lincoln penny 1-cent coin without mint mark and fine condition. This coin represents the final chapter before a significant transformation in Lincoln cent composition and minting techniques. The 1981 penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omitted mint marks from its coinage until 1980 for most denominations. However, cents from Philadelphia still bore no mint mark in 1981, preserving a practice that would continue for one more year. The design remains faithful to Victor D. Brenner's classic portrayal of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and Frank Gasparo's detailed Lincoln Memorial reverse. At first glance, this penny looks like any other from the late 20th century, but closer inspection reveals its unique place in U.S. coinage history. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was on the brink of transitioning from primarily copper-based pennies to a zinc core with copper plating, a move officially enacted in 1982 to combat rising copper costs. Thus, the 1981 Lincoln cent marks one of the final full production years for the 95% copper and 5% zinc composition, making it particularly desirable to collectors who prefer the older, heavier pennies. The weight of the 1981 cent is approximately 3.11 grams, compared to the lighter 2.5 grams of later zinc-based pennies. Many collectors use a scale to differentiate them, especially when examining coins from 1982, which saw both compositions used. The total mintage for the 1981 Philadelphia Lincoln cent was an impressive $7,491,750,000. Despite this massive number, fine condition coins from circulation can still hold collector interest, especially for those focusing on composition, strike quality, or error types. The most notable collectible features for the 1981 no-mint mark cent include double die obverses, minor die clashes, and off-center strikes. Though double die obverses for 1981 Philadelphia cents are relatively scarce, they exist and are heavily sought after. These coins show distinct doubling in the inscriptions, such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. Prices for such error coins range from $50 to several $100s, depending on the clarity and rarity of the doubling dot in fine condition. The 1981 Lincoln cent typically carries a nominal premium, with most coins valued between 5 to 25 cents. However, the copper content alone gives it intrinsic worth, especially as copper prices fluctuate. More significantly, collector sets that focus on pre-1980 to copper coins often seek out examples like the 1981 no-mint mark cent for their completeness and historical value. As modern coin rolls become increasingly dominated by zinc cents, the older copper variants become harder to find in circulation, adding to their long-term appeal. The enduring interest in the Lincoln cent series ensures that transitional years like 1981 remain in demand, not only for their metallurgy, but also for the subtle variations and collectible oddities they occasionally present. 1988 Lincoln penny 1 cent coin with mint mark D and fine condition. This coin emerges from an era when the Lincoln cent had already undergone substantial change, but continued to hold the fascination of collectors. The 1988 D penny was minted in Denver during a time when the U.S. economy was growing, technology was accelerating, and coin production was being modernized. This 1 cent coin is composed of copper-plated zinc, having adopted the new composition officially in 1982. Weighing in at approximately 2.5 grams, the 1988 D penny represents the contemporary form of the Lincoln cent that continues to this day, though the visual design remained unchanged. Like earlier versions, the obverse features the profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right, a legacy of Brenner's enduring design. The inscriptions In God We Trust, Liberty, and the year 1988 appear clearly, with the small D mint mark signifying its origin at the Denver Mint. The reverse still displays the Lincoln Memorial with intricate detail, where one can even spot a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside if the coin's condition is good enough. The inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent are sharply outlined in most fine-condition coins, although where may blur the finer aspects of the memorial columns. In terms of mintage, the 1988 Lincoln penny had a staggering production run of 5,253,740,443 coins. Such high numbers typically render coins common, but rarity and value in numismatics often stem from what's abnormal or unexpected. One of the most famous and valuable varieties of the 1988 D penny is the reverse of 1989 error. This occurs when the reverse die intended for the 1989 cent was mistakenly used on a 1988 D cent. Collectors distinguish this variety by closely inspecting the FG initials for designer Frank Gasparo near the right side of the memorial base. The positioning and style of the initials differ slightly between the reverse of 1988 and that of 1989. This error has become one of the most notable modern Lincoln cent varieties and has driven demand for high-quality examples. In fine condition, a 1988 D penny without errors may only command a few cents to $1 in the collector market, depending on eye appeal. However, the 1988 D reverse of 1989 variety can reach $75 to $250 or more, especially in higher grades with red surfaces and strong luster. Because this error is subtle, many such coins have passed through circulation unnoticed, which makes them prime targets for cherry-picking by knowledgeable collectors. There are also examples of off-center strikes, die cracks, and minor doubling from this year, though not as prevalent as the famous reverse variety. For collectors, the 1988 D penny is essential not just for its error potential, but because it occupies a key position in completing Lincoln Memorial cent albums. It bridges the gap between the high-era potential years of the early 1980s and the more stable minting of the 1990s. Its enduring design, historical backdrop, and the potential to uncover rare reverse types make it a sleeper hit among 1980s coinage. So there you have it, 3 unassuming Lincoln cents, each with their own history, characteristics, and value potential. The 1968D for its transitional features and minting quirks, the 1981 no mint mark for its copper legacy and collectible varieties, and the 1988D for its dramatic era variety and modern relevance. These are more than just pennies. They are snapshots of American history you can hold in the palm of your hand. Keep an eye on your change, and who knows, you might just discover a hidden gem. Thanks for watching Coins Numismatic series, where every coin tells a story.